In this edition of the Other Overlanders, we are chatting with Josh, Brittany, and pup Remy, who have converted their Dodge ProMaster van into a beautiful off-grid camper and left their home in San Diego, California to travel south. We are catching up with them 6 months into their journey in Oaxaca, Mexico.
The van is set up to be off-grid, like I mentioned, and the reason for that is because we didn't want to be driving and thinking about, okay, where is the next RV park that we can plug into to recharge our batteries or to dump our tank or fill water. So we have 40 gallons of fresh water underneath, 32 gallons of gray water. We don't have a black tank, it's a compost toilet. Another thing about off-grid is that we have a rather large battery bank. It's 640 amp hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries. That powers all of our appliances that are all electric. We have no propane. Our heat is electric. We have electric radiant floor heat, induction cooktop, convection microwave. We have a 12-volt air conditioner that's kind of what's called a parking air conditioner. It's not a high-powered one, but it does reduce the humidity and will lower the temperature a few degrees, which is nice. What charges the battery is our alternator when the vehicle's running, or 600 watts of flexible solar panels on the roof. To be a world traveler, you have to have a vehicle that can make it there. So the first thing is which fuel source. In the United States, all modern diesels require ultra-low sulfur diesel. So we had to get either an older diesel, which is why we looked for a Sprinter, or a gas engine. So we ended up choosing the gas ProMaster. It's 2014. First year they started bringing it over from Europe. It's based on the Fiat Ducato, which is 75% of all RVs in Europe. So it's a great drivetrain. It's a really great platform for conversion because it is wide. It's 6'3" in height, 6'3" in width, so you can actually sleep widthways. It's just under 20 feet in length, so it's 6 meter. If you do ferries and things like that, you get the 6 meter price. It's two-wheel drive, it's front-wheel drive, so it's a little better off-road than a rear-wheel drive. That was also a concern of ours, is do we need a 4x4 rig? We would love one, especially after speaking with expedition truck owners about traveling off-road in Argentina, but so far we haven't slipped. We have all-terrain tires that are 2 sizes larger than stock, and that's served us well. My favorite feature of the van is our batteries, simply because it allows us to power everything and not require propane or diesel or anything like that, and it's worked well. I mean, after 6 months, our air conditioner can run all night on it. We have our heater now set up that can run all night. We are never really wanting for power.
But I do love that we have a shower. Not just because I think that we need to shower every day, but I just think it's awesome that we could be boondocking in a street, anywhere, and we could be showering and nobody knows that we're in our shower.
Mm-hmm. We did a lot of traveling in the U.S.
Yeah,
up in
parks.
Seattle. We did all the whole West Coast, and we wanted to be able to be in a new area and not have to look for an RV park. We wanted to be able to say, okay, we'll just pull over and park if we go out and it's late. And so we built this van to be stealth, which means the solar panels are flexible, so they're very thin. You can't see them from the outside. There's no awning, there's no graphics, there's no electrical panels or anything visible that screams, hey, I'm an RV. We did it on purpose. That matters in the US. But this gets into what we would change. In Mexico, it just has not mattered. There are huge RVs, Class Cs, Class As, that are parked in the street.
Kids being loud inside of it. So
right, these are people we've met who say that's just no big deal. So we really regret not having an awning. We don't really have outdoor camping stuff. We told you guys this. I mean, we don't.
Yeah, we didn't get a table to set up outside.
We have these small camp chairs for the beach. And so it would be nice to have some outdoor living space, like an awning and table and chairs.
The only thing I would change, which we both made the decision on, like the looks of the van and little accessories. You know what I'm gonna say, right?
I don't know. I'm excited.
I would change the handles that we picked.
Oh, that's true.
Because I always run into them, and it hurts like heck because it's so sharp on the corners, pointy. A favorite accessory that is not necessary and it's nothing that we like recommend, but we love having our espresso machine. We're always stopping to buy a coffee in the morning, and then mid-afternoon you want another coffee, so that's 2 to 4 coffees a day, and in California it's not cheap if you want a good coffee.
Yeah.
So it was just way
anywhere.
too much, or anywhere. So it was just adding up to be way over budget. So we got a van-sized espresso maker, and
Yeah, it's the DeLonghi
machine.
EC680, which is the smallest pump espresso machine, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
So instead of spending the money at all these coffee shops, we'll buy the beans. We'll taste. We might share a cup and taste, and see what we think of the beans, and then we'll buy those and make
that's
our
a fun
own. So
item.
that was one thing that we knew that would help with our budget, is making our own coffee. We knew we wanted to do a conversion. I wanted to build it myself rather than buy one, a commercial build, because most commercial RVs are not designed to live full time. So looked a while, was going to do a Sprinter van, and then the ProMaster came out, which is what we're in now, and didn't really start the conversion for 6 months, maybe 5 or 6 months, just planning and designing and figuring out what we wanted.
No prior building, construction, engineering experience.
I'm
so
not
a lot
an
of
engineer,
research.
designer, or carpenter, or no specific skills, but I don't really like the limitations that that are placed on us as far as using a professional to do things. And with YouTube and blogs and internet forums, we just have so many resources to learn how to do something. And so I knew that I could do it, and just set up on this big project to build a house inside of a van. We started from San Diego. We are now
In Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. We are 4 months in Mexico. We did a maybe 2-month tour around the U.S. visiting friends and family.
Before starting, yeah. And we don't really have a time frame or limit. We just originally said, let's just go to Costa Rica, and let's just say by December, just to kind of give us a goal of moving not too slow. It's still hard today to say where we're going to end up or where we will stop and turn around, because it changes daily, where we're just going to go to Costa Rica, and then we'll just go to Panama while we're there. And then we met other overlanders that are coming in the opposite direction that, say, why wouldn't you go all the way to South America if you have the time and you have the vehicle? So we're tossing it up in the air and just going to take it country by country as far as how far we'll go and how long we'll continue van life.
No, it's true. Our route has been dictated probably, I don't know, over 75% from other travelers, where they had been or where they plan on going. And we don't really have a set plan, so
it's exciting.
We hear some place that we definitely need to go visit, and we say, okay, let's shift our plan and go.
We're not big planners. I do like to have an idea of like where will we go and what kind of places will we stay, but we just looked up like apps to be able to help you pick where you're going to stay, what routes, what roads maybe not to go down.
We did buy a book.
It's a great book with great detail, but
it's a solid Baja book.
It's just outdated. I mean, I think it's only 2 years old, but some of the RV parks didn't exist anymore. Some of the places they recommended weren't in business anymore. So as you're driving and trying to follow, one of our plans was not driving after dark in Mexico. Was, as you're driving, you're like, okay, we get there in an hour and the sun sets 30 minutes after that, so we're good. And then you get there and it says closed, and you're like, where are we going to stay tonight? Is it okay to just park at a gas station? And that's another...
Well, route planning and where we're going to camp and sites and things like that, we did not do a lot of research on.
Yeah.
We really were relying on just learning as we go.
Yeah. So yeah, we're a little different in the sense that we didn't completely quit our jobs And
I guess this goes back to the planning. We actually planned this a lot longer than even the boat idea. So I started a business about 7.5 years ago, and I designed that business to be a phone or email specific business, meaning the patients don't need to go into an office, they don't need to see me, it's all over the phone or online. And I did that so we could live remotely, and that has really served us well in this traveling, because we can run the business remotely from anywhere as long as we have an internet connection. And so we didn't leave any jobs. We are currently working the same. The only difference is I'm not pursuing new business, so it's just working on existing business, and that funds our travels. So
yeah, and I was a full-time nurse back in San Diego, and I originally was planning on either quitting or taking a leave of absence for our travel, but when we weren't really sure how long we're going to be traveling and how long would my leave of absence be, and just loving my job as a labor and delivery nurse, it's exciting going back, and being able to have the flexibility of going from full-time to per diem allows me to keep my job and just work a few shifts I can go like 6 weeks without working. So we just planned it where when we're near a big city, I would fly back to San Diego, visit with my sister and family, work a few shifts just to have some extra money that we can put in the bank or for our travels. And then if we decided to go further along and it just became too expensive to fly back or just taking too much time away from the road, then I would take a leave of absence.
So my advice would be to future overlanders is to go now. Go in the vehicle that you have. One thing that, now we spent a lot of time and it took us forever. Really, it
Seemed like
seems.
forever, yeah.
We just pushed back the deadline so many times
Yeah.
about leaving. And you really don't need an expensive rig. You don't need
A big
this
rig.
huge 4x4 expedition rig. You don't need a fancy van. You just need the vehicle that you have. We would have been just as happy in our old Prius,
Yeah,
and then choosing Airbnb places to stop.
I agree. I say go now, and if you have any desire to do it, put away all the fears of what will people think or how am I really going to be able to do this, because it's way better than we expected.
But then it might not be for them. But I say
Try it.
determine that for yourself, because nothing's permanent. You can always change, shift gears.
Yeah, we don't have any regrets of selling big items and not having a storage unit back in San Diego, because it's just stuff, and in the end you know that stuff isn't what makes you happy. It's the experience and the adventure. So forget about your stuff and just do it.
Big thanks goes out to Josh, Brittany, and Remy for inviting us into their home and sharing those insights with us. If you guys would like to see more from their travels, you can find them as Grateful Pursuit on Instagram. And we'll have a link for that down in the description box below. If you guys want to watch more interviews from other Overlanders, you can click right here. And if you would like to see more from us and our travels, you can click right here. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.